Hello everyone, this is whatimpact.com advice video, how to measure and report on impact. This video is especially made for Newport City Council grants and those organizations who have received them and who are now eligible to report on their impact. Just to recap, what impact is a social value brokerage. We match grant makers, councils giving grants and private sector companies with local charities, social enterprises and community groups. And we also kind of allow other type of matchmaking than grant making. So you are also eligible for product, service and skills donations on the platform. But the beauty of this matchmaking system is that we have a semi-automated impact reporting, which is very easy and efficient for VCSCs to use. And we empower you to report on your impact in a very, kind of well-designed template. So let's go to the matchmaking process on the platform in general. If you're watching this video, I believe you have been granted a grant. So you have gone through this matchmaking process where the council, in this case, Newport City Council, has placed various grant offers on the site, and you as a charity have them applied with your profile and project description. You have pushed the button, application has been sent automatically, and then you have responded to a few due diligence questions. You have been then awarded a grant, and you can manage now this impact reporting and the whole partnership with the council on your personal dashboard. So you have this social impact reporting bit, and when you click that open, you will be shown the match you have made, and you will be then going through the impact reporting kind of process. I will soon log into the platform and will show how it works, but a couple of other slides now about impact reporting in general. Why is it important that we measure and report on impact? It is extremely important, and inherently it was obviously made for yourself to evaluate the efficiency of your program. You have some kind of a theory of change in your organization. You want to make a difference to the society and to the people. And therefore, it's important to somehow monitor whether that change is taking place and whether something could be maybe improved or whether something is highly impactful and you could be even obtaining more resources, funding for those projects because you can prove the impact to the society. Also in these kind of grant-making schemes like we have at hand, Newport City Council is distributing shared prosperity funds, which are government's leveling up funding, which means that also the council needs to report to the central government about what they have done with the money and what has been achieved. Therefore, it's really important to get feedback. This is also extremely important if you partner with private sector companies. They need to see where they have invested their resources on and whether they are using it for their CSR reporting or whether they have to use it for sustainable procurement, which means like part of their tendering process for public sector tenders. So the impact of verified outcomes and impact is great. It's not only about we put £5,000 something and 500 people attended an event. That is simply input and output. So input is the resources putting into solving a challenge or offering some kind of a solution, and output is then like a numbers, percentages, and so forth, kind of like a scale of the project. But we would need to focus on the outcomes, which are short-term changes, indirect outcome, which might be some kind of a byproduct of your of your outcomes, something that you didn't like intentionally do, but there is some kind of a change happening despite your direct efforts. And then the longer term impact, what you are trying to achieve and what you kind of believe or can verify that you have already achieved. And this all starts from your own theory of change, of course, and some bits like a longer term impact is not always available as a data, because it might take years for impact to accumulate and form. But then you can still state kind of your aimed impact, and in every bit of this process, whatever evidence you have to back it up, you can kind of place it on our impact reporting. So this is just to go through the theory change, just to reiterate the input, kind of output, outcome, and impact, kind of a sequence of events. And so inputs are really the resources they are put into certain progress and programs that you are running. Then the outputs are these kind of numeric values and scale of the project. Outcomes are these kind of short midterm changes, and then the overall impact, the long term. And this theory of change model is an international model for all kind of charitable work. So if you haven't got this kind of structure yet in place, I highly recommend you to build it, because it's a great way to communicate any funder about your work, and also then for yourself to start to define what kind of measurement you could be putting in place. So what to actually measure? There is no very straightforward answers to that. It is kind of the changes you wish to make that are somehow measurable. So when you have your theory of change, you can start to think about then that, okay, how do I kind of address this change? Where can I find information whether it actually happens what I intended to happen? And when the measuring methods comes in place, there is a vast option. This doesn't mean that this has to be some large academic study. It is more of it has to be just relevant to the work that you are doing. So if you are helping, let's say, 30 families, there might be a direct impact to the actual beneficiary, the main beneficiary of the family, but then you might be monitoring like the overall family and extended family impact as a byproduct, so-called indirect outcome. But you can measure these through observation, surveys, direct interviews. You can look at statistics, compare different groups of people. It's very helpful as an example given in educational progress or something. There are usually statistics about, let's say, children who don't get some kind of extra support, but then if your organization gives that extra support, there will be statistical differences then between these groups. Also, if we want to really address, kind of the impact and make sure that your intervention models help in longer term, then it's very important not to only do one study quite close to the intervention, but also then monitor a little bit longer, the progress of the people and how the impact is being built due to your work. So this is kind of little advice how you go about it when you are setting at measurements and impact. Let's now jump into the platform of whatimpact, which in this state is already familiar to you. So I'm just changing the view at the moment. All right, so I'm first scrolling through a older impact report from totally different kind of program, but I'll just show you how it's formed. So when you have completed your impact report, it will look like this. It's actually several views of the matching process that you have made. So your organization profile is here as you have placed it on the platform, so you don't have to fill in any basic details of you anymore. Then the grant maker supporter profile is here. Also the activity, the project that you have applied funding for will be presented as it was in an application. So you don't have to repeat any of this information. Also, when you start filling the impact reporting, all of these black area text and data will come here automatically. So simply you will start from the process, you little bit tell about the challenge you're solving, and also kind of how successful you feel in general that this project has been. And there is no right or wrong answers here. You simply give a little bit more background. In this case, there is a monetized value for social value, but it's a voluntary data field and you can skip it. Some charities have social return of investment calculations in place, and they can actually report social return of an investment on the project, but you don't have to do that. We then go to the outputs, and these were the numeric evidence and these kind of little bit KPI type of things of your program. And if you have run this project already several years, which many times is the case, you will be stating how many KPIs have been reached during all of those years that you've been running. So let's say you've been running an education program at school, you might have like 1,000 students, tens of thousands of hours, you might be how many schools, different, these kind of like a numeric values, what kind of achievements you have made. Then this particular project that you've been running with now Newport City Council's money, you would be reporting the KPIs here. So if with their funding, you've been now running the project and maybe helping 100 students, 2 schools and so forth, you will report that those numbers here as part of this bigger like a project. If you have only started the project with this particular grant funding and that's everything you do, then these numbers are equal, like in this case. Direct outcome is the first short-term change that you've been able to create with your program. Again, there is no right or wrong answer. Keep it very simple but precise. What is the difference you've been making for these people that you've been helping? And or if you're doing some environmental activity, it usually has people benefit, but it might be then also that it helps maybe wildlife or something like that. But it has to be very tangible. You then choose from a drop down, how did you measure this? How can you claim that this is the fact? And then you can choose what kind of framework this applies to. And we will present you in soon. I'll present you in our platform what kind of shared prosperity fund outcome kind of categories we offer, and you just pick and choose from a drop down, which category this particular outcome kind of falls into. You need to report at least one direct outcome, but you have availability to add a second outcome, third outcome if you wish, if you have evidence and maybe even multifaceted kind of impact what you're doing. And then we have room for indirect outcome. All these second, third, and indirect outcome are just voluntary, but I recommend that you will report on them if you have the data, because it's very exciting to read kind of widespread impact that you guys are doing. So indirect outcome means that maybe if you have helped let's say, these young children in their literature and reading skills. Maybe their reading and the school success has been improved, but maybe the indirect outcome might be that their younger siblings are inherently doing better at school because these older siblings are presenting them, first of all, good example, but also the older siblings have been then able to advise the younger ones. So this is just an example of something that you didn't intentionally aim to do, but this just started to happen. You can fill in kind of key achievements during a reporting period if there is something special that happened that kind of evidenced this indirect outcome. Then sometimes when you're running a project, there might be a negative outcome. And this is not something to hide or being ashamed of, or it's not a failure. It's actually an opportunity to learn. And sometimes from negative outcomes, there comes new ideas of new intervention methods. Like, for instance, the example what I just told you, there might have been that the younger siblings might have been feeling left out because they didn't get the support. So from that kind of negative feedback that they felt left out, the key learning would be that maybe the program should be also extended to younger years and support both the younger and older siblings at the same time, just as an example. So then we come to the longer term impact. And if you don't have a proven data about the longer term change that your program has been making, you can state your aimed impact and kind of why do you base your assumptions on this kind of progress. And there can be some maybe statistical evidence or something saying that it's been proven that, let's say, 1 hour more reading support for children in a week over a course of 1 year's time will improve this and that. So you have kind of evidence behind it. Then you can do a little impact statement. And it would be lovely then to share a little case example. So you can then have a little kind of a case example, maybe talking about some participant in your program and how the progress happened and how it changed their life. And also then if some beneficiary would be giving a testimonial, that can be great. You don't have to name these people at all, but you could support the statement with some photographs. So when you start reporting on impact, you should have this data available. We provide every grantee a Word template which has all these data fields ready. So we recommend that you first write the text on the Word, and when you actually come to the platform, you could then just literally copy paste and stuff. So you don't have to stop in the middle of the process and look for some data. So it is much more helpful and you get it done as one go. All right. So the next one. So here is the dashboard, how you're going to be going about it. This is now some charities dashboard, and you can click your impact report in button. You will see then your project, as a match here. And even though it says that the report is recommended in November, in this case, you can report anytime. The whole program doesn't have to be over in this case. If you have already, let's say, done an event, or you are running an ongoing program where you have the participants and beneficiaries, you have feedback and so forth, you can report, kind of at any time. This grant, is given to you regardless of the achievements, kind of outcome achievements. It's been given to you to run your project, and this is a genuine kind of request just to get some insight how it's going, but there will not be any kind of a negative setback if you haven't reached certain KPIs that you have earlier presented. So it's just important to get feedback from beneficiaries and how the thing is going whenever you kind of feel that you are ready to report. It will be preferable to get the reports by the end of 2024. However, if there is a project whose main activities will be happening maybe in December, January, and in early 25, then you might be reporting a little bit later. But we can then discuss this with you because there will be reporting requirements in the end of March for Newport City Council. Anyway, you push this button here, and it says that create an impact report. And you can now choose to create a full impact report or short. And in this grant case, you will be creating the full impact report. You can add media here, which are the photographs or videos, and we strongly recommend that you will share them. Obviously, it's important to get a permission from any beneficiary if they are recognizable in the photo, or if it's children or so forth. The photos should be taken so that they cannot be recognized, and maybe it's some kind of thematic photo rather than direct photo of a person. You then click the report on social impact. And you will then select the date. You say how many volunteers you have involved in your project, and then you are, reporting on these baseline challenges, which were the first part of the thing, and overall success of the project, how you feel it's going. As said, you can skip the monetized value if you don't have one, and then you put outputs, so those numeric kind of numbers of beneficiaries and events and so forth, and you can add quite many of these, and we would recommend to put at least 3 of them. Then is the first outcome that you can report on. You can tell a little bit more. And you can then, from the drop-down menu, see how did you measure this. And then you can describe a little bit more what does it mean. It could be that you have even observation. So you run an event and you observe that, how happy people were, everything went well, there were no negative incidents in the event, and people's feedback on the ground was marvelous, and you can report that. You might have done proper surveys where you actually have numbers, how many responded and what they said. And everything, all these methods are equally important. So you can just choose from what you have. If you have any link, let's say there's an article or maybe some kind of summary document as a link, you can link it here, or then you can upload also a document. Then you will go to the framework, which means now that you choose from this drop-down Government Shared Prosperity Fund, and you go here to Communities and Place. And then you choose from these W kind of outcome statements, which one is kind of the type that is matching with your particular outcome that you reported. And when you are stating another direct outcome here, you can choose again at the same framework, but you can choose totally different W. So if you have several types of outcomes in your project, then you choose like this kind of high-level outcome to match. And there are quite nice outcomes here, so I can encourage you to read them through and kind of see which ones have you been kind of fulfilling, and so forth. And you can then report the indirect outcomes, the same thing here, and negative outcomes, key learnings from that, and so forth. And when you then put all the images here for the testimonials and put those statements here, you can either save it as a draft if you're not ready, or then you can save all changes and that will be then published. If you have any questions, we always have the chat channel here to answer your questions. And you can always send us a message to address called shona@whatimpact.com, and we will be returning within the same day. Thank you.